All right, so picking up from where we left off, we're in floor 375 up against the big machine guy, whatever his name is, I forgot.
Music is the rhythm of life.
So I guess I'm using my
Breathe.
new standard team for now. Yishuan, Astrayal, and Jigger. Okay. So first try fails immediately.
Sing in the name of hope.
As I believe I said in a previous video, I think
Adjusting for wind.
Miyabi
Allow me.
is much more comfortable. I'm much more comfortable using Miyabi here, but I don't know if it's because Miyabi's kit is built for this, or rather Miyabi's kit trivializes this, or it's just that I'm not as comfortable with the Yishuan as I am with Miyabi. Still,
Your life ends here.
it looks doable, right? Because this boss is Ether weak, so Yishuan should be more comfortable since she'll deal more damage than, say, Miyabi
Yet still.
does. And the fact that, as I already alluded
Fire.
a lot of times in the previous videos,
An opening.
Yishuan has a lot of defensive tools in her kit, which makes it easier to deal with like unexpected situations. Just like this one. Oh, not this one. So that was
Sniper's Creed.
the move where the boss rushes forward. So if I was using Miyabi there, I would be doing two dodges, like a dodge counter into another dodge, or I would be like giving space so that the opponent, the monster, doesn't hit me. But if I was now that I'm with Yishuan, I could have just parried that. Fortunately, I framed through that move, so it is what it is. Anyways, back to the fight. So we're now on the second phase,
Obliterate form and spirit.
triggering the second ult of Yishuan into trigger, back into Yishuan.
An opening. Evil
So we
shot.
trigger her first ult just to iframe through the explosion. Yep. Into enhanced X skill. Nice impaired there. Oh yeah, that's another thing that I noticed with this one. It's easier to deal impaired with this one versus like Miyabi.
Can't catch me.
Uh,
An opportunity.
I don't know. It's just easier to target stuff with with Yishuan, because with Miyabi, at least that's how I notice my playstyle is. With Miyabi, I just like think about spamming enhanced basic attacks, whereas with Yishuan, I have the leeway to like switch targets. Since I think I'm more on field with Yishuan versus Miyabi, because Miyabi is like a very quick swap character.
Allow me.
Parry. We missed the parry, but it's fine. Into ult. Yep.
Yet still. Release. No mercy. Take the shot. You're cornered. My bullets are one with
So
the wind.
like we can't interrupt huge bosses, but that's fine. Unfortunately, we couldn't do the double chain attack technique, but it's not that bad. So unless I do something like stupid here, this should be G. Should be game,
Keep your guard up.
right?
Ether vision activate.
I didn't do something stupid here, right?
An opening.
Yeah.
Obliterate form and
I
spirit.
remember being a bit nervous here because I didn't want to start from the beginning if I make a single mistake, but we're fine. Yep, we're fine. Okay, so the double decibels is very attractive to me. I believe that's what I'm hovering about. But then again, that's zero point 0.5 additional cooldown per dodge is a huge demerit. So I had to compromise and choose the third buff, which is usually the safest one. Like you either have a minor buff and no cons, versus like the first buff or the second buff, which usually have like huge positives but like negatives as well. So yeah, when in doubt, choose the third buff. It's the safest one. You don't get any negatives. It's good. Anyways, another thing that annoys me with this boss is it has an invisible attack. This was designed with the dodge indicators in mind. So since the tower, or rather high floors in the tower, remove the dodge indicators, it becomes a much harder fight. Although, as I'm repeating already so much, so oftentimes, Yishuan trivializes this much because of her built-in parry mechanic. So if you're like, if I'm not sure what's the boss's attack, I usually just use her enhanced X skill and fish for parries with this boss. It's not as bad as Miyabi, where you really need to look at the boss's move. Like, you have to see how the boss telegraphs its moves, because if you miss a move, yeah, that happens. If you miss a telegraph, you experience that invisible move. I mean, it's not invisible. The boss telegraphs it, but when you're in the heat of the battle, you miss signs, like obvious signs. It's understandable, really. So yeah, Yishuan really is a game changer for high floors in the tower. Okay, that was a very bad play. Like, that's not even excusable.
In the name of hope. Disappointing.
At least this time we learned our lesson there.
Sniper's Creed. One shot, one kill. Take this. Before the evil shall turn to dust. You're in my sight.
Okay, I framed through that jump move using Yishuan's third X skill combo, but in hindsight, I should have just dodged away from the area of effect. That adrenaline was kind of wasted, I think. I mean, it's fine in the long run, but if you can optimize the run as much as possible, yeah, that would have been the play. So we're trying to fish for another impaired here, I believe. This is another like move with this boss that Miyabi also struggles to move against. So with Miyabi, I have to either move out of the way or once again dodge counter into another dodge, because that boss animation where it spins its legs, it's a very long animation. So the only way to counter that is, yeah, as I said, dodge counter into another dodge, or you just move out of the way. So we did 2 consecutive chains into an ult with this one here. I'm guessing we go to... okay. I guess... yeah, triggers. Ult is much better used after the stun window, right? So I was thinking a while ago that it would have been nice to spam her. Yeah, it would have been nice to spam triggers ult during the stun window, but then again, we're missing the impact, or rather impact meter
Quick shot.
if we did that. But anyways, regardless, we lost that run. I guess I panicked or something. I was trying to fish a parry, but I mistimed my button press, and so run ended. It is what it is.
Take the shot. This bullet will reach its mark.
Yeah, I heard that Yishuan getting hit, so yeah, that run was GG.
Will compose a miracle.
Yep. I really have to lock in with this boss. It has a lot of, not really a lot, like it has that one
The target's weary.
like hard to read move. Like it's telegraphed, but it's hard to read. So
The weak
I have to really concentrate here if I want to clear this in as slow a time as possible, or as slow attempts as possible.
Sniper's Creed.
We're like what, almost halfway into the video, and I still haven't cleared floor 375.
Ether vision activate. Suppressing fire. Recalibrating. An opening.
I don't know. I guess I blanked out when that happened, so I wasn't able to dodge on time or parry on time or even do a defensive assist, but hopefully I lock in here. Maybe. Hopefully.
Evil shall turn to dust. Suppressing fire. That was easy.
Yep. This is the issue, I guess, with spamming quick swaps too often,
The rhythm of light.
especially with trigger, because unlike Wuthering Waves, where quick swaps are
Recalibrating.
or rather units, when you quick swap out of, are invulnerable to damage when they're not being controlled by the player. Quick swaps in ZZ are a bit more nuanced, because
Its mark.
yeah, there are some moves in a character's move set where they're immune to damage, but they're not invulnerable to they're not
Suppressing fire.
immune to damage as a whole when they're on field and they're not being controlled by the player character. Like, yeah, it's annoying, I guess, but at the same time, it's a good showcase of skill, because if you're really good at quick swaps, then you know which frames are immune, which frames have invulnerable frames into it, so it's easy to
Ether vision
quick
activate.
swap out of. And yeah, I guess that adds a little more dimension to the game, I suppose, in terms of skill expression.
Get behind this.
On the other hand, you can just
An opening.
pull for units that are really dedicated for quick swap, like say Astra Yao, who is truly invincible when she's on the field and not controlled by the player.
Adjusting for wind.
Or say Vivian,
An opening.
who has a lot of iframes as well.
Evil shall
Who else? I guess Vivian is the Trigger. No, Trigger.
recalibrating. This bullet will reach
Trigger
its mark.
Trigger deceptively has a lot of frames where she's vulnerable. Even when she's on field. Like I experienced runs where I failed because Trigger used her aftershock at the wrong times and she got hit by an attack. It happens. Sorry about that. I hit the mic. And who else are quick swappy? No, Miyabi. When she's using her enhanced base attack, she's fully on her invulnerable phase. Technically, Xuan is also quick swappy, but as I said a few minutes ago, she's more on field than quick swappy. But you can if you want, I suppose. And some said Yanagi can be quick swap, but sure. But there's a moment during her, especially when she's doing her jump attack, when she's on the ground, she's very, very vulnerable to damage. And I have had runs and because I mistimed Yanagi's jump attack, like her X skill. It is what it is. Speaking of, continuing from the quick swappable units, I think most of the roster pre 1.4 struggle with quick swap because it makes sense. The game state was different from the current game state. Yeah. Hopefully, the new buffs to the older characters will allow for more quick swap playstyles, but until then, if you want to play quick swap, like safely play quick swap, you'll have to pull for the newer characters, Astrayao, Miyabi, Vivian. So for players who don't have them, hopefully they start getting rerun next patch or so. Anyways, going back to the current battle, yeah. This attempt is taking long, not gonna lie. I'm repeating the same mistakes. I'm zoning out a lot, it seems. I guess my condition when I was doing this wasn't the most ideal. Hopefully, we at least finish it this run. This recording session, but we'll see.
Adjusting for wind.
What else can I talk about? We can talk about the next patch, I guess. So apparently it's physical shielding. So we have a physical support and a physical anomaly. I'd rather not talk about leaks since I do want to hopefully in the future become part of the Hoyoverse creator program. I want to join the creator experience server. I really want to try the new characters before they're out, but regardless, anyways, that's neither here nor there. About the future patch 2.1, so yeah, it's a physical shielding, it seems. We have a new physical support and a new physical anomaly. So I guess, I don't know, are we back to anomaly shielding this patch? I guess a lot of people expected the influx of Rapture agents, and then we have ZZ blindsiding us once again with the return of Anomaly. But I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully this physical shielding will increase Jane Doe stacks, Piper stacks if you're one of those people. Which I was, by the way. Once upon a time, I really liked using Piper, but when I started delving into the tower, I realized that Piper isn't it really? Alright. Sorry, while I was shopping, we finished floor 375. Finally, after 20 minutes. Yippee. So, we can finally proceed to the next floor, 376. But going back to my old love for Piper, she was fun. She was my second DPS back when my only limited DPS was Jui 1. So I was also a huge PubSec guy, and yeah, so PubSec and Sons of Caledon were my preferred factions back in those days, back in the days. But once we got Miyabi, I kind of changed my allegiance. So my M1, I believe I have her W engine. So my M1 W1 Joyuan is rotting in the bench, as well as my Qingyi M0 W1 Qingyi is also rotting. My Piper is like sitting on the bench. Well, actually my Piper survived for quite a long time. Right, yeah. Especially when we had Deadly Assault. So my only DPS units back then were Yanagi, Miyabi, Harumasa, and then Piper. Well, I mean, I had the 4 stars, but I wasn't really interested in building them, and I wasn't interested in building Harumasa. So technically, my only build DPS were Piper, Juyuan, Miyabi, and Yanagi. But I think it was during 1.4 or 1.3 where my stance on pulling for character duplicates changed. So back then I was a huge vertical investment guy. So I wanted deeper character rosters than wider ones. But yeah, after a fiasco in Honkai Star Rail about pulling for duplicates, my stance kind of changed. Like, sure, pulling for mindscapes, or I guess character duplicates, will reduce, or rather will offset the effects of power creep unit, but there's only so much vertical investment you can do until you really just have to pull for the newest unit. So at that point, I kind of changed my stance and went for horizontal investments instead, which is like pulling for the newest unit and so on and so forth, or like if they interested me or something, which I think serviced me well so far. Like that mindset serviced me well so far, although it kind of locked me out of a couple of team comps, because I also how do you say it, limited myself from standard units as well that have mindscapes, because I thought I might as well make it so all my teams don't have any mindscapes at all, except for like the A ranks. So all S ranks, regardless of their like limited or standard status, if they have a mindscape, then I'm not playing them. So I can't play my Lycon, because my Lycon has like one mindscape. I can't play my Rina, she has one mindscape. I can't play Grace, she has 2 duplicates. I can't play Soldier 11. I can't play Nekomata. So yep, I'm locked out of the standard units, so I can only play the limited ones, which kinda saddens me, because I can't play Miyabi's best in slot team currently. But I guess it's not that bad. I mean, I don't really care for deadly assault or shield defense.
No room for
I
mercy.
mean, I'm fine just clearing them for the minimum rewards. So, 6 stars for the assault, 9 stars if I really want to push for it, and
You're suppressing fire.
S ranks for shield defense. So
I swear
doesn't
on
have
my
to be
head.
like sub 1 minute clears. I'm fine with on the like
Recalibrating.
exactly on the dot 2 minutes 30 seconds on both sides, which fortunately I still haven't reached that part yet. I have decently good discs. I have signature weapons on most of my DPSs, or rather all of my DPS that I use, or rather I all of my units that I use. Like, I already have all their signature weapons,
The target's
so
furious. Adjusting for
I'm
wind.
chilling with the shield defense and deadly assault. The only thing that I'm really how do you say it, sweating for is
Bullet.
tower.
Reach its mark.
Lost Void is like, it's fine. So yeah, I'm left with the tower.
Activate.
So climbing the tower, farming for demon medals. That's my current goal right now. But or rather, I talked too much. I guess I went too far away from the original topic, which is about next versions physical shielding. So
No room
I
for
don't know.
mercy.
Will we have a new physical
Sniper's
boss? Well, we most likely will have a physical boss, given that it will be a physically shield patch. Hopefully
fire. Can't catch me.
this will make my Jane relevant again, which, speaking of, I kinda regret pulling for Jane. I mean, I already heard that Piper was better, or rather M6 Piper is way better than M0 Jane, but I don't know. I really like Jane. She's more of a waifu pull, I suppose. But like in terms of the meta, I kind of regret having pulled for her, since we now have a new physical anomaly, and I'm gonna assume that this new physical anomaly will
One shot, one
power
kill.
creep Jane though. But that remains to be seen. I don't want to be doom posting about it, or rather dooming about it that much. I mean,
Vision activate.
we have Lycon. I mean, what's his name? Hugo, who is ice attacker, was the same quote unquote, or rather was quote unquote the same niche as Ellen, which when Lycon was first drip marketed, and like a lot of people were doom posting that Ellen is now dead. Although,
Recalibrating.
to be fair, Ellen was dead back in pre 2.0, but not because Hugo power crept Ellen, but simply because Ellen just had bad had a bad kit. Like, she had 1.0, she had a 1.0 kit, which means she didn't have a lot of 5 frames. She had low multipliers. She was clunky, to be perfectly frank. So Ellen was bad, but not because of like Hugo. Of course, obviously,
Awaken.
Hugo is newer than Ellen, and Hugo had more mechanics than Ellen. So if you look at, say, a tier list, most people would put Hugo above
Our one
Ellen.
with the wind.
And it's also possible that, or rather, it's exactly because of that I'm kinda regretting, at least from a meta perspective, that I pulled for Jane, because back then, at least when I was trying to pull for Jane, and this was on her rerun, by the way. I didn't pull for Jane during her first release. I pulled Jane during her rerun, which is,
Recalibrating.
already a bad, like, a bad decision on my part, pulling for DPS on their rerun. But I don't know. I suppose I was trying to justify it by saying I wanted to have a physical DPS that is easier to use. Although some would say Piper is easier to use because of her spin to win playstyle. But I was really thinking in terms of tower. You can't really spin to win in the tower because that opens you up to a lot of attacks, which, since we're farming for demon medals, getting hit once, it just ends your run. So my reasoning was that if I pull for Jane, I'd have a physical DPS that is easier to use because you don't have to spin to win. But I was just coping. I guess I just really wanted to pull for Jane for waifu reasons. But I'm rambling on and on. But basically, I guess I shouldn't have pulled for Jane. Alice really, from a meta perspective, yeah, I guess I believe Alice. I should have waited for Alice, I suppose. I mean, it is what it is. Right. That was a long yap, rumbled a lot, and yeah, I guess even this run, or rather this recording session, I went over the 30-minute limit that I set for myself. I guess we'll cut it right here and then. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.